Elite Managers Game World Americas, coming soon in January 2025, including clubs from USA, Canada, Mexico, Colombia, Peru, Chile, Uruguay, Argentina, and Brazil, from the makers of Elite Managers Game World, EMG MENA, and EMG Africa. Further updates to come in November, December, and hopefully launching in January 2025. Keep up for news.
Elite Managers Game World podcast. We are doing a season preview for season 15 of the main world, or Elite Managers Game World. Plus, therell be some topics from MENA, and we'll briefly mention Division 4 as well, just briefly as news updates. So I'm joined today by Nhery Black, who is the Leverkusen, Raja Casablanca, and Kano Pillars boss. Sir Joe, who is the Crystal Palace boss, and Babajide, who is the Barcelona Young Boys, TP Mazembe, and Belouizdad coach. And I'm obviously Greg, Real Madrid, Sparta Prague, Cape Town, and Al Nassr. So what we're going to do today is we're going to do the brief news update just to update you, because obviously we've had some managerial changes in Division 4. And then obviously we'll briefly mention a big game that was in MENA last week. And then we're going to be doing a full-on prediction for Division 3, Division 2, and Division 1. So first things first, there has been some obviously monthly changes. So we saw 6 managers leave Division 4 due to not meeting the message criteria. So they were Ben Meakin, Matty Meakin, Abdu, who's still yet to leave, Ruben N, Davy Stewart, oh God, I can't remember them all, and 2 others. Let me just get you their names now. Oh God, shows you how inactive they were when you can't even remember their names. But yeah, there was 6 new managers in. Oh, Scoper was one of them as well. He swapped out for Fizz. But yeah, so what's happened is we've got some new managers in place now. So I'd like to welcome Andy Glinker, um, Unstoppable, I think his name is, the Nigerian guy. Welcome back, Pane, after a 2-week hiatus. Welcome back, Mr. INJ, after a 2-month hiatus. Welcome, Scott, who is going to be taking Jaguar in the next couple of days. And I'd like to also welcome El Mago to Elite Managers Game World. And obviously, Fizz will be in Division 4. Also, as well, briefly mentioning, obviously, there's 2 games left in the Elite Managers Game World Middle East North Africa season. But there was a big game last week, the cup final between Al Shabab and Hapoel Beersheba, and Al Shabab secured the win in the cup final and then secured a Champions Cup spot, which has meant that they've obviously, I think it's their 13th trophy in 7 seasons, which is ridiculous. So congratulations to Jabril on another trophy. A 2-0 win in Dortmund against Beersheba. He'll be hoping to do the double as he battles James's Beersheba and Arjun's Al Sad. Right. Do we want to start with Division 3 first?
Yes, let's do that.
Right. So, it's who's got Division 3 prediction? It's Babajide, isn't it? Jide.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm back online, guys. I just had to get the clubs right. So the predictions for Division Three,
Yep.
three the newly demoted clubs might have to struggle, but I feel like for my predictions, I see Sevilla, Leverkusen, Juventus, three teams in particular. Sevilla, Juventus, yeah, Leverkusen, tough ass. But I mean, I feel like my choice of more of the manager than the club itself. Otherwise, I would have said a chance, better shot at it, has a better shot at it this season compared to Leverkusen. And then for the playoff spots, probably Marseille, Leicester, Palace, and then Monaco competing for the three spots, fourth spots. And I don't know. Well, since there's no relegation to be seen, I wouldn't be predicting any clubs to be relegated, but considering the fact that United and Rashini, the manager, inclined to take games in a very lackluster manner in the hopes of staying in Division 3 and getting players that will be available for free season goes. So maybe United finish in the bottom three, or probably. I mean, it should be fine. Difficult to finish in the bottom three, especially the addition of Alvarez to the team. But then probably we'll finish table as well. So I guess that's pretty much. Oh, Leipzig, Scopa. Scopa's Leipzig has a chance at has a shot at playoff spots too as well. I guess that's all on Division 3 for my end. Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, yes, I can, bro.
Joe, you're obviously in Division Three. Do you want to give a prediction as well, or how you think Division Three will go?
Okay. Um, Division 3 is actually going to be a very tough battle. I took my time to go to the teams. There are a lot of teams that, that has what it takes in terms of ratings and, you know, battle it out there. But I've come to find out in SM that it's not just about the ratings. It's about the tactics, and then with coming in any moment from November and December, we're going to see a lot of players lose their ratings, and we're going to see a lot of players also gain ratings. And the coming season is going to pan out throughout November, December, even until January. So at some point, it's going to come down to the managers. It's going to come down to tactics, and that is where a lot of things. A lot of teams are going to, lose grounds, even though they are going to have the ratings. So for me, I'm going to say on paper, uh, Leverkusen is having a squad that looks almost going to take the title in Division 3. The same with Leipzig, but then those two managers, I think they have a track record of not fulfilling up to the promises. So if all things should go equal, I'm tipping Leipzig to win the division, and I'm also giving it to Leicester probably to finish second. And in the playoff positions, I give it to Juve, I give it to Sevilla, and I won't forget to mention I give it to Crystal Palace. Yes, I'm expecting to push into the playoff position. A lot of changes has happened in the team, especially the arrival of Lionel Messi, 95 rated, and going to be the captain leading the team. I expect that results-wise, he should be able to perform for the team and probably put us up there. So, like I said, Sevilla, Juventus, then Valencia making the 4 playoff positions. And then for the bottom half, I mean, the bottom positions, I think Manchester United are going to be there. They're going to struggle. I think they're going to struggle because I've tried to look at the team, even though the arrival of Alvarez. I don't really think Alvarez is a top performer when it comes to SM. Uh, there are certain players in SM who have come to find out that they deliver, irrespective of what their ratings are. When you play them at the right positions, they are definitely going to come up with assists. They're going to come up with goals. And I've used Alvarez in other game words, and I've tried to play him in several positions, and he doesn't seem to click for me. So I'm going to give him that judgment that for me, despite the ratings of Alvarez, I don't still see him as a game changer for Manchester United. So with that, I'm tipping United to be somewhere in the bottom. So that's just it basically for me for Division 3.
Right. Nhery, do you want to? Oh, actually, G-Day and Joe, do you want to predict who your cup winners are going to be as well?
Yeah, I just think I want to just like add a few words to what has already been said. So for the Division 3 title, I think I'll predict Juventus to be winning it, the title this season. They have the squad for it, and definitely the manager. We have seen what Moses has done with Monaco when he was in charge, and he has also managed a very good job. Although it was a hard job at Man City, he did a good job actually. So I'm thinking Juventus will at least be in the top two this season, and then also I'm expecting Crystal Palace also to push for the title or the top two. And the the prediction of Manchester United finishing bottom of the table and after I don't agree with that actually because made it playoff and only lost at the playoff final. So with the arrival of Alvarez this season, I think it is time for the manager to push for a promotion charge, and I think he won't finish anything less than sixth in the table. Yeah, I think that's just my prediction for the three. We can say Leipzig has a very good their manager live up to the hype. That's to be seen. Prediction, I think Juventus, Crystal Palace for the top two. And Leipzig for promotion.
Uh, I feel like asking, oh, why for it?
Probably it's about the manager in charge and how to utilize the players actually. Some managers are utilizing player and you have experience with Messi in the past, you know how to use him. And with his rating, it should be a cheat code to get you goals in the league. So you came halfway last season and managed to get them up a little bit the table. So for this season, I know big things are at stake here. And also there are some players in that Crystal Palace squad that are going to get some generous increase in rating probably halfway through the season, which will be just in time to push for that top half of the season charge promotion and all that.
Okay. Just to add, that this is a news flash. The last friendly for before the season kicks off, Crystal Palace just won at home against Leipzig. Well, it's a friendly, but then I think it kind of give a taste of what the season holds.
Friendly don't mean anything. No.
One thing I will say about Division 3, so I posted this earlier because I actually have only done an in-depth for Division 1. I haven't done Division 2 and Division 3, so I'm going to use what Jabril sent earlier. I do have Joe winning. I do believe Crystal Palace are probably the favourites to win Division 3, and I've got Juventus coming second. And then my four playoff teams are Sevilla, Chelsea, Leverkusen, and United. And I'm going to see Leverkusen go up this year. I think Spicer's going to do pretty well with Valencia. He'll just sign youngsters. They'll get ratings. He knows how to do well in these game builds. And I do have Leipzig actually underperforming. I only say that just because Scope is a person who isn't active on SM as it is anyway. It could be a case that that could affect Leipzig a lot. It could also be that if Scopa doesn't get 25 messages as a new manager in there, and if they're not up to standard, they could really struggle. On in the general, I've actually said this today in the chat. I do think the six teams who got relegated from Division One and Division Two last year aren't going to struggle this year just because the quality of them is not there. Nhery, do you want to do your Division Two predictions that you were doing earlier?
Okay, now let's get to it. I muted the mic before. Division 2 this season, I think out of the three teams that got relegated from Division 1 this season to Division 2, Inter Milan, Borussia Mönchengladbach, and Villarreal. I think the only team out of the two that will make a push back for promotion is actually Mönchengladbach. Looking at that Inter Milan squad, I don't think there's much to be done. And with the quality of the teams in Division 2 this season, there is no hope for Inter Milan. In fact, they might even be in for a back-to-back relegation struggle. As for Villarreal, we know Gift is a bit of a special kind of manager. He has a lot of young kids in the squad, and we know what he does with the young kids. He always wants to play them irrespective of the rating. So that goes Villarreal's ambition for promotion. So that there goes that. And I think I would predict the winner of the league this season to be between Aston Villa and Everton. I think both of them are going to give it a big charge for the title. Obviously, we have Benfica in the league also, who has a very good rating and very good squad. Yep. What the manager will do this season? Maybe Sasuke the Great will wake up and be great, or it will just be the same story all over again. We don't know. But for the promotion back to Division 1, I would tip. I think I'll go for Madrid, Betis, Villa, Mönchengladbach to at least make the playoff spot. But for the title charge, I'm going Villa and Everton, which Jones will not like to hear about Everton winning another title. But we know the charge is in charge. We have to give it to them. So that's my prediction for Division 2. Yeah.
Yeah, there's some surprising picks there. I've not actually gone Aston Villa, as obviously the former Aston Villa boss. Bear in mind with Aston Villa, they're going to lose Rashford quite early on to external, which is going to be a big hit for them. I've got, and I don't trust Davian to.
They have a very good squad actually. Like the squad is hold on. Like Crystal Palace, they also have some players in the team that will get some increase in rating. And when player just get a rating increase and they start playing under a good manager, they are bound to perform very well. In SMO, it has happened a few times actually. It's always been happening when a player gets a raising increase and they get game times, they drop good performances. So
Yeah, I mean the Villa squad is not far off what I had a couple of years ago when I left. So it's I mean I'd like to see Villa do well. I do think personally I've got Benfica winning Division Two, and I've sort of done this because I know a lot of people have predicted Real Madrid to win Division Two, which is me. I've done this to sort of deflect it off myself and say, yep, but there's Sasuke with that Benfica team. And I know we call him the sporting director, he's a brilliant recruiter, but a poor manager. But he's got to eventually get over the hurdle and get promoted back to Division One at some point. I've got myself coming second, just to lower the, you know, pressure. I also think if I get enough depth, I might see if I can do good cup run as well. My four playoff teams are going to be Everton, Lyon, Real Betis, and Real Sociedad. I have got Everton winning the playoff final, which Jonesy won't be happy about. But I do think like Bojan will probably say that he'll run away with Division Two. It don't work like that. I remember when Ren were in Division Two under Joe. They had a brilliant team. They couldn't get over that final hurdle, dropped into the playoffs, would lose the playoff final or playoff semi final. It's no guarantee just because you got the ratings. You know, if you have a couple of bad games, you're not in the top two and you're in the playoffs. One bad game, it's over. You know, and it's Everton should be going up, but you know, and we saw this year in Maina, Al Ahly had a brilliant team, won Division One in season six, season seven, battling staying to Division One. You know, that team's brilliant. I do think sometimes Bojan can have a brilliant season and then a bit of a poorer season. Um, but it, I think Everton will be up there. That's all I'll say with that. I've got Sociedad as my overperformer. Now, there were other candidates out there. I did think maybe Bilbao. I think they could do they stay up definitely. I think um, Atalanta potentially look okay, especially with some of the Division Two teams there. Sort of, you know, Porto's, you know, who are just they remind me of Bristol City and Preston in the Championship, where they'll never get promoted and never get relegated. They're just always there. You know, eventually teams like that are going to go down. You look at as Nhery said, Villarreal look not brilliant. Inter look not brilliant. Gladbach aren't that much better, you know, and that's the three teams that have come down with Division One. The fact that they don't look like they're going to be even, they're not definitely not going to get automatics. It's a push to even get playoffs. You know, I think it opens the door for someone. And now Sociedad have had a few good seasons. They've been around the playoffs, been in Division One a few times, won Division Two quite a lot under Mohamed Ake. I think Viltop's done well with them before in Division Two. They're one of those teams that just consistently, when they're in Division Two, do well. Gonna they have a couple of seasons in Division One and get relegated. But I do see. I think he could do the playoff, maybe get to the playoff final, and then just lose out to Everton. But that'll be a good season for them. And then I've got Villarreal underperforming. I'm going to put my neck on the line, and I'm generally going to say one of those three teams that come down for Division One. I think that one of them's going to go down to Division Three, and I have a funny feeling it's going to be Villarreal. I just think Gift makes these weird signings, but how he plays his team sometimes is he goes for youngsters, but he won't play his best players, and it's like you need to play your best players to do well in the league. You can't just be playing players you like, and I think he will get caught out, and he could be at risk going to Division Three. Um, Joe, have you got any opinions on Division Two?
Yes, yes, I do. Okay. I've looked at the squad, and like I said about Division Three, it's all going to come down to mostly managerial tactics, all right, and a lot of very good teams, very good players there in Division Two. But I think I'm just going to point out three teams I think are going to make it to Division One, are going to get promoted, and they are Benfica, Aston Villa, and Everton. Yes, in no particular order. Two of those teams are going to get automatic promotion, while one goes through the playoffs successfully. And I'm also going to point out that I've looked at the Madrid squad. Uh, Everybody tipping them to make it through, but then I don't know, but I personally think that squad, after the reviews, that squad might actually struggle with ratings, and when that happens, it's going to take much more from the manager to come up with the tactics to beat the other teams I've mentioned. So, yes, Madrid, good team, but down the road, they're going to lose ratings, well, they're going to gain in few areas, but a chunk of the players are going to lose ratings. Maybe they have scored their backup players, but when you lose ratings in SM, you're forced to play with a lower rated. So I think uh, Madrid will probably make the playoff, but no, Madrid will not make it through. So for me, it's just Aston Villa, Benfica, and Everton for promotion. Relegation, I can't spare Porto. I can't spare Porto for relegation. I can't spare them. I think Porto are going to get relegated. I think Olympic Lyon is also going to get relegated. Um, and then I think one other team. Minute. So basically, Porto and Olympic Lyon. Yeah, these two teams I tip for relegation.
Surprised by that Leon pick actually, because Leon historically the last 3 or 4 seasons of descending have always been playoffs, made a couple of playoff finals and just choked in the final. It may be that it does catch up to them. I mean, you see it in real life where a team in the championship, say for example, gets into the playoffs consistently, just can't get over that last
Well,
hurdle and then drop off. Um, Porto, I have felt Porto have been in Division Two since like Edmund Derry got them promoted in like season six, season five. Um, and James Young was there, and I compared them to Bristol City or Preston because anyone that knows the Championship, those teams always come 12th. Porto always come 8th. They're never good enough to make the playoffs. They're never bad enough to get relegated. But I do sense Porto could go down. I haven't looked at their squad, but I haven't seen Harry Banty sign anyone to improve the team. And it's it's an okay squad. I mean, it's got some positives, but it's not awfully brilliant. I do think it's a case of they're either going to stay the same or they're going to get worse. And if he's not improving the team, they're going to eventually sleepwalk into relegation. And I just think eventually coming eighth, ninth every year is just going to catch up with them. They're going to have a season like Leicester did last year, where they're just going to come 13th or 12th and they go down. It could be the year, really, to be honest. Could be the year.
Um, okay. Well, like I said, this division is going to be a very tight one, and then you're going to go down to managerial tactics. Yes, Porto, Lyon, they have a first squad, but the managers going to be up to the game to ensure that um, they keep themselves in the division. Well, for me, I think the answer is no. And then I also want to include Bayern, also Bayern Munich for relegation too.
Yeah, Bayern Munich come up won Division Three not last year, the year before. I think missed out on the playoffs actually last year. They had a bit of a good season. Braff was a bit weird because he spent 200 million on Boya Mayoral and other 88, 89 rated players that are just never going to improve. And it's sort of like Bayern Munich should be higher. Um, they've always been a Division 3 club ever since really I've been in this game world, and that's nearly 3.5 years. It does seem that they're not in a position where they can go to higher than where they are, and it could be a case that they do drop back down to Division 3 maybe this year. It's quite interesting. I think there is in Division 2 there's a big gap between the good teams and the bad teams. I think Division 1 is quite tight, Division 3 is quite tight, and then there's a gap of teams at the top of Division 2 which are Division 1 quality, and then the teams at the bottom of Division 2 are probably Division 3 quality. Um, well, they are. And there's no in between really. There are a couple of teams. I have noticed that, especially being in Division 2 last year, there is a little bit of a gap between the best in Division 2 and the worst in Division 2, and we probably could see that again this year. And it probably will be highlighted as well with the fact that we've got a pretty poor Villarreal, a pretty poor Inter, and an average Gladbach coming down. I think there's going to be a few teams that are going to be scrapping for survival in Division 2 this year. Gido, have you got anything about Division 2?
Yeah, I think you guys have all said it all. I mean, my picks also would have been for winning Division 2 would have been Benfica, Everton, and then Villa. But then I don't know how to put it in the simplest manner, but I feel like Benfica have overstayed their welcome. They are welcome in Division 2. Benfica have always been a Division 2 club since I joined EMG over a year ago, and that's about 5, 6 seasons now. So I mean, Saski has is Hagwe. In fact, I don't think he's Hagwe. I think he's got the best team ratings wise, value wise in the division. That team will contend with some Division 1 clubs as we speak right now. Has always been one of the best teams in the game world actually. And then last season he had to contend with the relegated Barca, Flamengo, who was in the title race all along, and relegated Real Madrid. And significantly, among all three clubs, I feel Barcelona was the only club closest to Benfica in the entire division. And now he's got Everton, who's got a very good manager in Bojan. I mean, that's a serial winner in the game world over the past few years now. And then he's got to contend with Aston Villa. I feel Devian will be losing Rashford about a month from now due to punishment. But I mean, he's still allowed to use the Englishman and definitely will be raking up some points along the line. And yeah, Madrid. I'll be speaking of Madrid based on the performance from last season. I feel like while Madrid haven't got the exact ratings to perform, somehow Greg has managed to figure out a way to get the best out of the team. He was only very unlucky. I mean, he did better than Benfica last season, in my opinion, and he was very unlucky to contend with Flamengo and Barcelona in the division last season. So yeah, I feel like even if Greg doesn't make an automatic qualification spot in the top two, then he'll still make playoffs again for the second season in a row. Maybe luck will be on his side this time around, and then he gets to qualify because he needs the depth for the two playoff games. For relegation, I feel like Porto will find it hard to struggle. Porto looks to be like the weakest team in the division so far. When I checked, we don't know what could happen when the ratings hit. Maybe you get to get a level playground just for a bit, and then Bayern has been struggling, and maybe Lyon or Inter. We'll see how it goes for them. Yeah, that's all for Division 2.
Actually, you were saying obviously Saski's always been in Division 2 since you've been here. In 15 seasons, now bear in mind Saskid has always managed Benfica since the start. He's had one season in Division One.
He's always been a Division Two
He
manager,
came.
bro. Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
he
I
came.
joined Lazio and I was like, that team is good enough to be in Division One.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
ever since, had players increasing, and he's even gotten new players as well. Always, he's not a very busy type in the windows, but then he still gets good players in, and everyone's on the increase. And still somehow, some way, a team with lower quality players, lower rated players, still manage to get the ease past him to get promoted. So I mean, that's a whole lot.
Yeah. So I think it was
Well,
season
I,
seven.
I think I
Oh,
think from
carry on, Joe.
okay. I'm just talking about Sasuke at Benfica. Um, like everyone has said, I think it's hard time he proves himself. Yeah, I think it's hard time he proves himself. He has the thing, he has the build, and now he wants to translate that into results and move into Division One. And if he doesn't do that this season, then I think he should just know that his entire time at Benfica has probably been a failure. You know, for me.
Yeah. So Sasuke has only had one season in Division One. He's other than that, he's had 14. This will be his 14th Division Two season. That one season in Division One, I think, was season 8 or season 9, so quite a few years ago. He had 19 points and got relegated. I think it's the last place team with the team he's got now. Um, like it gets to the point. We say this every 3 4 months, every season. You surely have to go up or just give it to somebody else. Like I don't like saying to people like, "Oh, you're not doing a good job," like because and we call him the sporting director, and he's a brilliant recruiter, but he just for some reason can't get the best out of that team and eke results. I tend to find Sasuke when I've played him, especially last year, is he'll take points off the top teams, but he'll play some like relegation threatened team and just lose. Um, and I've noticed that in the past, and I know previous years he's had really bad seasons with his squad, not even made the playoffs, and been closer to relegation, and he's just gone on to win the cup. Um, and obviously he won the EMG League Cup that we did with the Connect Cup with Division 4 teams in as well, beat Valencia in that. Um, like, surely he has to go up this year, but I mean, I'd like it for him to either win the league or even just get out through the playoffs. You know, because he that team needs to be in Division One. But it's like it could be 15 more seasons, and he could have 2 seasons, and we could be sitting here in 4 years' time, and he's like, Sasuke's had 2 seasons or 3 seasons in Division One and 25 seasons in Division Two, and honestly, it wouldn't be surprising. Um, but yeah, I think I'm gonna say it's going to be his year this year, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's somehow, some way he didn't perform. So I'm gonna go to Division One now. This was the league that I was chosen to specifically go over, and what I've done is actually a top 1 to 14 prediction, and obviously because Division One being the main league, I've split it into the categories. So I've done the champions, then second to fifth, which is the Champions Cup spots, sixth, seventh, Challenge Cup, eighth, ninth, tenth, the playoff, and then obviously I've put PSG as mid-table. It's not really mid-table; it's a relegation threatened spot, and then the three bottom teams. So starting from the bottom, I've got a bottom three of Tottenham, Milan, and Man City. Now, what I will say with every all 14 Division One teams, they are very good. It is hard. It was actually really hard to pick, and I think I put Flamengo in the relegation zone. I put Napoli there, put Lazio there. Obviously Man City, Milan. I put in the end ended up putting Milan in there, and there was a few teams where I thought they're either Challenge Cup playoff teams or they're relegated. Tottenham, it seems maybe a season or two too early. They have got a lot of youngsters, and obviously, as well, we've mentioned there is a chance that there's some rating rises. Obviously, if that will benefit them, but obviously, I think just overall strength of Division One is ridiculous. Milan again. Cal's a good manager, and I wouldn't be surprised if he gets in the Challenge Cup automatically. And I think he'll do long term do a better job than Gifted at Milan in 2.5 years there. I haven't got them getting relegated though. One thing I will also say about Division One, I haven't seen a lot of transfer business, especially from teams with aging squads, Arsenal, PSG especially. And I do think, obviously, I don't want to be people to act like some managers where they've got to do deals, but at least make one or two deals. Just because if you're not doing anything, you're just stagnating and you're not improving. Um, Milan, I just think this team's better than them. And then I've gone for Man City, and if it was 2 weeks ago and Moses Alabi was still there, I would say they'd be higher up. Because we've got a manager whose history in this game world is very little. He wasn't even managing in Division 4 2 months ago. He only joined in September or end of August. Yeah, just about 2 months in the game world. Sort of sped run through Division 4 up into main world just because we haven't around when gold became a thing in SM. Done okay with Marseille, but you know it is that with teams like that in Division 3, it's hard to judge how they do. And obviously, Man City being a Bami build originally, and then obviously having Amy Knight and Ahmed Alamiad, and then obviously Moses has done a little bit of clearing up the rubbish, old rubbish, and obviously bringing in some of his own players. I do think this year, maybe with that manager change, and it could either be a case of they're in the top five again or to go down. And I've gone on to say they're going to go down. I think there's a few. They're one of those teams that were just ancient 2 years ago. They're on their last legs. Um, I've got PSG coming 11th. Um, Now, no offense to Sani, but he has sort of been the reason why his team have got worse. He doesn't do deals. He has an 88 rated goalkeeper, which is not even really good enough for Division 3, let alone Division 1. He's got an age inside, and also to add, Robert Lewandowski is on level one concerns, Thomas Muller on level one concerns. Two players who realistically are going to go to level two, and if, I mean, is he going to drop Mbappe to play Muller and put Mbappe onto concerns? Like, it's at a point where you just sell him. But I've said the last couple of years, and I will back it up. I think PSG are going to get relegated in the next 3 seasons. I just don't. I just think that club is so badly run. They should be competing higher, but they're not. Then the three Challenge Cup playoff spots. I've got Napoli in eighth, Lazio ninth, Flamengo 10th. I looked at the Flamengo team and I've actually thought they were pretty decent. Actually, they had quite a lot of 91s, 92s, done good business. Napoli, Bami's consistent. He is starting to bring in some younger players. He is obviously still going for his older targets. He's sold Lukaku to Wolves, replaced him with Benzema. Bought Giroud in. Giroud was one of those level two concern players that nobody in Division 3 bought for a week. Bami picked them up. He did the same with Luka Jovic, who's another one of those. He's recruited. Obviously, Bami will always go for older players, but he has got a couple of youngsters there that will, I think, eventually long term take over. And I think he'll always. I think he knows. I think he said today he thinks they're going to get relegated. I think they'll be fine. Lazio. Um, James just bought Joe Linton for Rabiot. I think I think Lazio are probably a mid-table. They're like Crystal Palace in the Premier League. Realistically, they're never going to play in the Champions Cup, but they're never going to go down. I've obviously mentioned Flamengo. Then my two Challenge Cup qualifiers automatically have gone for Liverpool, and I think Liverpool could come in the top five if Fizz is on it. Obviously, he's just started a new job, and that could affect it if it's He's unable to log in for a couple of days or misses a cup game. Hopefully, he doesn't put them on holiday mode again, because he'll get relegated. I've actually got him winning the cup. I think Fizz hasn't won a trophy for quite a long time. In fact, he hasn't made a final of a tournament outside of the SMFA tournament since he lost the Champions Cup final back last December to Alf in the first one against Argent's Al Stad. So he'll want a good run, and I've actually got him winning the cup because he hasn't won that in a while either. So I think it's going to be a case of he probably could make the top five, but I think cup games will catch up with him and he'll just fall out of it. And I've got G-Day's Barca. I think this will be, again, Barca's another team that could make the top five, but I think it's a case of this year just settle back into Division 1 and then hopefully next year kick back on. My four Champions Cup qualifiers, I've got Dortmund in fifth. Bit of a mixed bag with a squad. There's some older players. Modric is there, 39. They've sold Lukaku to Wolves, not Napoli. But I think Argent will do okay. They did okay last year. Arsenal fourth. I don't think they'll go any higher. They got Harry Kane there, scoring them goals. As long as Ute's making 25 messages, they're always going to be in the top five. Ren third. I think De Bruyne is still there, still 95. Haven't done any business, which is a little bit worrying. Obviously, Thomas is not a massive person that does a massive amount of deals, but it could be a case of, I think it's just same old, finished top three, good season. I've got Wolves second. Now I know Gibril will want to push. It could be a case now where it was previously Barcelona, Rennes, Barcelona, PSG, Liverpool, Athletic, Gladbach. I think this is going to be the next couple of seasons. It's going to be Athletic v Wolves. I have got Wolves coming second. I think it will be close. I just think Atletico Madrid are a little bit better than them overall. What could affect us is obviously the cups. If one of them goes deep in the cups, that will affect them in the league. But I just think maybe not this season for Wolves to win Division 1. I do think they could make. Obviously, I haven't done the predictions yet, but I do think they could do. They're sort of like Liverpool from like 2017 to 2021, where Man City would win the league, but Liverpool would do better in Europe. I think Wolves could be a case that they could do better in the Champions Cup. Um, I actually think Wolves could go quite far in the Champions Cup in next week, but I think Atletico will win the league. Um, Joe, do you want to go for? Do you want to do your Division 1 predictions?
Okay. Division One prediction. Well, somehow Jay feels he's gonna go back to back in Division One. Well, if you look at the squad, I think he has enough firepower to go back again and win Division One again with Atletico Madrid. So it's all going down to the manager, so who can unseat him. I've gone through his squad. He has a very lovely team. A team that has Bukayo Saka sitting on the bench on the shade final yesterday. A team that has a 92 rated Kai Havertz on the bench. Then every department in that team is properly filled with 90, 93, 92, 96, 94 rated, and a well-structured team. But then I also looked at Barcelona team, and for some reasons I have the conviction that if Babajide can come up with a good tactics, he cannot fit Atletico Madrid. So I'm going to back Barcelona to win the league in Division 1 because I think they have what it takes to do it. It's all up to the manager to make that push, So I give it to Barcelona to win the title in Division 1. And yes, I have Atletico Madrid in the top 2, coming second. And then I feel Paris Saint-Germain also can make it into the top 4. But then I think the only team I have a concern about is Liverpool.
Liverpool is the only or one of the teams actually have a concern about. Could it be possible to see Liverpool getting relegated from Division One this season? Good team, good build, but then the manager, the manager needs to, you know, up his game. He has a lovely youth team filled with a lot of prospects, and I'm very sure he'll be trying to give those prospects a chance, in order to keep them away from getting consigned and losing them. So in his bid to do that, he's going to create some lapses in the team, and I think that will be exploited by other teams. So other than that, Liverpool has a good team, but managerially they have a lot to sort. And let's not be shocked if we see Liverpool getting relegated this season. I'm not just saying this for banks, but I have been in game world where I see managers trying to secure their prospects, giving them playing time in order to not get them consigned and all of that. And while they do that, the other clubs exploit that opening. If you look at Liverpool, you see Kovacic as is one rated. Definitely, he will be demanding to at least play 40% of the game, and I'm sure the coach will want to keep him. Rico Luis is there, Colin Lopez, we have Tavijo and 89 rated. These are players I think that he would want to keep and he would want to put them into the team. And once he does that, trust me, other teams are going to uh, they're going to have that disadvantage of rating in a match, and other teams are going to exploit it. So yeah, I'm open to seeing Liverpool in the relegation battle. I'm not saying they're going to be relegated, but I won't be surprised if I see Liverpool somewhere around the 11th, 10th position struggle to keep up their cool. So, with on the top, Barcelona, Atletico Madrid, Saint-Germain, and yeah, I also want to tip Tottenham Hotspur. Um, I think the team has what it takes to finish in the top five, top six. Secure an SMFA competition, and that relegation wise, I think Napoli and Flamingo are going to be very careful about relegation. Um, they're going to Napoli just lost Messi, uh, a 95 rated attacker. We all know what Messi means in attempt, especially for a manager um, like Bami. He would have done some quite of good with Messi, but with Messi gone, I think he's going to need to find a way to make up for the rating loss. And in a game in a Division One that is very very tight, I think he's going to pay for losing Messi, and I think he's going to get relegated. So I tip in Napoli, Flamingo, and Dortmund. Yes, I think those three are going to be stepping down into Division Two come the end of the season.
Nhery, do you wanna
Yeah,
drop your predictions?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think the Division One title this season will be a lot trickier actually. Because to be honest, I don't see Jones winning it again this season. He has been great for the past two seasons. He has been steamrolling and winning things, but this season I don't think he will be able to keep up with that. Yeah, and in saying that, I think the next manager in line will be Barcelona and Liverpool, and then they have the next best squad to challenge for the title. We don't know what to happen. And if these two teams fail to challenge, and then I think we can have a random winner, is someone that will emerge. Like when we have a State Rennies came from Division Two to the Division One teams by storm, won it, and then kept going. For this season, I'm not going to tip Atletico Madrid for the league this season. So my choice would be Liverpool and Barcelona for the title. And for the top four, I would tip Arsenal and Wolves to be in that top bracket for the SMFA position. We know what UC is capable of, but unfortunately, he has been in a bit of a jam for a while. So I think he has not been giving his best to us now because under his leadership, Mönchengladbach actually has been maintaining a top finish in Division One for years until he left them, and now Mönchengladbach are in Division Two with no prospect of making it back. So for that reason, I think Arsenal will be in a position to finish top half of the table. And as for the battle for survival, yeah, Napoli will be drawn into that battle actually for this season because they have actually lost quite some players, and I know he has actually gone out to bring in back some ratings. He bought Benzema, and I think he has also bought another big rating player. I don't know, but I think Napoli, Man City, Flamengo, yeah, I think those three teams are going to have a tough time staying in Division One next season. They have a tough time, and for Paris Saint Germain, it will be a very tough call for them because they have a very good attack. They have a strong forward line and a, a good midfield. Not great, but a good midfield. What will suffer them this season, and we'll see how Sonny deal with that. But I think they'll probably finish mid-table this season in the league. And I think the overperformer for the season will be Wolf and Tottenham. Because Tottenham actually has a good squad. The manager actually took a bet gamble when he decided to go the youth route and build the team, which got them relegated originally. And since then, they have been climbing up step, and they have players that are going to get some rating boosts midway through the season, which will give them the advantage to not get relegated back. Depends on how the manager manage them before then. But I think Tottenham for me will be the overperforming team for Division One this season. Yeah. So that's that for.
Yeah. Gide, do you want to drop your predictions?
Yeah, I feel like everything to be said has been said. On the contrary, I would say I expect Jones to give Tico a push, try to defend their title this season. But then, yeah, with Barcelona, I mean, usually I go into the games expecting to win everything. I mean, just to make sure I provide myself a title challenge. So yeah, I feel like we'll be coming on strongly for the title. So I'll be pitching Barca to win. And plus, I think we have less to deal with. We lost Alvarez on concern last season, but then I feel like we have less to deal with in terms of concern. That's despite having
two players on concern only because we have a 90 rated and a 89 rated in Joshua Zexi left. So I think those could be handled easily for myself. And that's what's it. And I would have loved to pick PSG, but the team presently right now is on a downward trend and it's going to keep continuing until top decides or he takes that bold step to start making deals and shuffling the team all around. I mean, he's lost the perfect time to make the best of transfers with his team, and I think going forward, he's going to get better deals that I could have gotten, say, maybe 3 to 6 months ago in the game. But I expect Arsenal to put up a bit of a fight this season. I mean, finish third or be one of the third best teams. But then Arsenal have got a couple of players on concern already and they'll keep growing. One thing UC hasn't shied away from though is choosing to sell off his concerned players. So I don't think that will be a problem. But the problem will be in the sort of players he gets in return. So I guess that's something you have to look after for himself. But I'll be pitching 3 clubs to start for the title. That will be Atletico Madrid, Barcelona, and Arsenal. So as for relegation spots, yeah, I feel like Flamengo will be struggling. Napoli would have a lot on their hands right now. And to be honest, Man City have just overstayed their welcome so far. So, I mean, Amazing was brilliant last season. He did a very great job with the team. He overperformed with it. I personally feel like Amazing has been overperforming with his teams he's been managing in my little stay in the game mode so far. So, I mean, it'll be interesting to see what Razor does with the team at his disposal. But I think he can't escape relegation. Division 1 is just way too strong for these teams. But then, experience have shown that even clubs like Liverpool, PSG, maybe Milan might find themselves drawn into this relegation battle because you never can tell. A lot of things could happen along as the season goes by, and one thing I sort of noticed managers haven't been taking concerns of in particular is the injury length since the recent update in July, August. The injury length has been telling. I think some managers had 2 players on out injured last season, and the season is starting tomorrow, and still I see a sign that 1 or 2 of those players are not back yet. So
Barella got
that
injured for Wolves after like match day 10. He's not coming back
exactly. So
until match day 8. He's effectively he tore his ACL. It's damaged cruciate ligaments. That's what it says. SM have made it realistic, and if you do that now, you're out for effectively a full season. So if you do that towards the end of the season,
yeah,
they're gone for the whole season. So yeah, that's a big miss for Wolves. Which
yeah.
everyone
So
forgot about
I
in
mean,
Barella.
this is and that particular update is why I'll be looking at clubs like Liverpool, clubs like Arsenal, clubs like PSG, who, although they have a pretty strong team overall, the bulk of their starting 11 happens to be very few backups to replace the best players in the team, meaning they have to be depending a lot on the youth players, contending against very much higher rated players in the division. So it's going to be very, very tricky. Lots of changes could happen. Injuries could be a deciding factor for the clubs in Division 1, and before you know it, the players you are depending on will probably be out for the rest of the season. So you never can tell, and managers have not been taking enough notice of that update in particular. So I guess that would be a sort of wild card and probably would give clubs like Napoli, say Flamengo and Man City a chance. Probably Dortmund as well, because when you look at their teams, averagely each players are just about the same rating. So probably the same sort of injury rating, any one of the players might not tell on their plans big time that way. So I mean, I guess that's all. I'm not expecting much from Wolves, but I expect Wolves to finish in the top five, top six at worst. So that's all from my end.
Yeah. Yeah. Obviously, as Gino mentioned, I think the injuries will have effect. I also think maybe some subtle managerial changes. Man City, I think Moses Alabi, I think me and Nhery just saying in the group chat then, is a very good manager. Honestly, he's probably one of the best managers up in the game world. Him going to Juventus is from City is potentially disastrous. Hopefully Razor could do well. But I I think that they may struggle. Obviously, I'll quickly do this because only me and Gide know how the standards are. But Division Four, or I'll do it first then, Gide. Um, just to keep the guys who are in Division Four, who will obviously listen to this, in the loop. So Division Four currently, we can't do a season prediction because there's 18 games into the season. There's 12 games left. There is um, five teams within 4 points of each other, and that's Copenhagen, who's managed by Fizz, Red Bull Salzburg, who are managed by Kaka, Zenit, who are managed by Jonesy, Gothenburg managed by Jabril, and Celtic managed by 9S. Bear in mind, three of those clubs are admin clubs, so they're always going to be there. I'm probably going to say this now. I think. Let me just check to see now. When does the Division Four season end? Ooh. I would have said 9est, just but say it ends in December, he might be in main role by then. I'm going to go for Jabril. I think Jabril will win Division. I think what four will be reversed of Division One, whereas Atletico Madrid will win Division Four, and Wolves come second. I've got Jabril winning Division Four with Gothenburg and Zenit coming second. And I don't know, Celtic are going third. Gide, who do you think will win Division Four?
Yeah, I mean, looking at Division 4, I feel like there's a risk for Celtic not eventually winning the title, like you mentioned, because he's been dropping points. But I think more points in the last few games than he did the entire season. He's lost 2 games in a row in the last 6. So yeah, he might have to contend against admins in with Gabriel's Göteborg and Jones Zenit St. Petersburg, because like you said, Celtic manager might not end up being in the division come the end of the season. So you never can tell. You never can tell. But I strongly feel like it's going to end up going to one of the admins eventually anyway.
Minutes in now, I think. Wrap it up now. Final prediction, guys. Do you want to predict who's going to win the EMG Cup? So the cup.
EMG Cup. Okay.
EMG Cup goes to a lot of varieties could be happening in the EMG Cup. Some clubs prioritize the cup and then end up getting disqualified or losing games in the first 2 rounds, and then they are before they know it, their games is over. You never can tell with winning the cup, but I feel like what has to be taken into account is the depth in quality. So, I mean, you have to the quality of your depth of your backups will decide how far you'll be going. Because for managers who just choose to take each games as they come, they might end up playing their strongest 11 in league games while playing their backups in cup games, and that will probably mean averagely they might be facing
one of the clubs in the lower divisions, stronger side on average. So I mean, it's a wild card. You never can tell. It's pretty difficult, but I don't think I'll be. I would never be putting a Division One club to win the cup because it's going to be pretty difficult, especially considering the sort of depth I've seen so far in Division One clubs, with majority of people's backups being very lower rated players in youth, hoping for them to increase. So, I mean, Division One clubs are actually more interested in getting youth players and building on their youth than Division Two, Three, which is a very weird scenario for me. But then it is what it is.
Joe, do you want to predict the cup winner?
Cup winner. Oh, I would have said Atletico Madrid because of squad depth, but then I just looked at I think the first feature for the cup, which is coming up on Tuesday, 12th of November, is between Atletico Madrid and Real Madrid. As the Madrid derby in
Oh,
round one.
I didn't
So
check that.
that's the game of the round actually, and if they get that, we see one potential contender, you know, leaving the tournament. So and like my fellow earlier stated, it's just going to boil down to depth and also managers' preferences because most managers in EMG probably see the cup as an avenue to give a chance to the lower rated or the second team, and then give adequate rest to the first team. So and you can barely list teams who have the depth to feel strong squads in both the cup and the league matches. So I'm still going to stick with that Atletico Madrid. I think they're going to take it because of the squad depth, nothing much.
Nhery, do you want to predict who wins the cup? Nhery, still there?
Oh, that if it's open. Before we can move forward, that if it's okay,
Are we
yeah.
talking? Are we talking about the cups?
Yeah, who do you think will win the cup? Adds tension to his pick. He'll probably. If you all that tension now and you predict Rashidi to win it for like a fourth time in like 6 seasons, I'll be annoyed. Who do you predict? Um, right. I will say he will predict Rashidi just because everybody knows Rashidi only cares about the cup and Man United. So just say because I think he's having some network issues or connection microphone issues. Rashidi will win the cup. I've got Fizz actually winning the cup. Um, I think um, as I said previously, I think Fizz's ego cannot accept um, his current recent form, and even with how he's run the club and everything, he'll want to win something. He hasn't won the cup for a long time. I think this is the year. I think he'll beat. Oh God, he will beat. Um, Actually, I'm going to say this now because it'd be funny. He will beat JJ's Betis in the final, and we will not hear the end of it for about 3 weeks. Um, as he tells us how he's the best manager in the game world, and JJ is rubbish and Betis. His Betis were better than JJ's Betis. So I'm gonna say Fizz wins the cup over JJ. Okay, so I think we'll just wrap this up now, because it's an hour and 15 minutes. Um, so there will be some more EMG Connect Cup previews. I'm going to look to get the Challenge Cup preview done for the EMG teams tomorrow, or Monday. I haven't decided. I'll probably do it tomorrow. EMG Africa will come out Monday or Tuesday. LOE will come out Thursday, and Maina will come out probably next weekend. Maina will be one that will have to include the playoff, depending on how the main season finishes. We'll have to. It might include teams that playoff losers that might not actually enter the tournament. But keep an eye out for that. We're probably gonna next do a podcast now after the Connect Cups finish as a review of that tournament. So it'll probably be similar to this but shorter. And yep, keep an eye out for updates on the EMG Americas. That'll be out in January. There will be a advert at the start of this episode, like it was the previous one. And yeah, good luck to everyone. Anyone got anything to say?
Sorry?
You got any parting comments?
Okay. Okay. My final comment is that it's going to be a very wonderful season ahead, starting tomorrow. There are going to be lots of surprises. Yes, there are going to be lots of surprises. A lot of things that you probably would think they are going to be fine, they are going to dominate, are not going to dominate. Um, and then bearing in mind with the recent reviews in XM, there are going to be a lot of changes, and it's an exciting season ahead, and I can't wait to get it started. All right.
Nhery just messaged the chat now. His missus is asking him. He's got to speak to him. So he just says good luck, guys, for the season. Gdo, have you got any parting comments?
I will just wish every manager good luck with the new season. And like Joe said, I mean, all we've done today are just predictions. You never can tell what goes on. So it's not written in stone yet. Everybody still has a lot to fight for. I mean, it's only just the first game of 26 games tomorrow. So let's go for it, guys. Good luck, everyone.
Yep. And I'll just say good luck, guys. May the best man win. Obviously, there'll be some winners, there'll be some losers. Let's just have fun. Let's not have any toxicity. We'll all have good fun. Obviously, during the season, there will be turnover of managers, but let's just all have fun. And as well, to the 64 teams that are going to be entering the Champions and Challenge Cup next week, good luck, lads. May the best team win. Hopefully, it's Real Madrid win the Challenge Cup and Al Nassr win the Champions Cup, but it won't happen. And I think I think that's the end of it now. That is, let me just end the recording. So that will be the end of season review done.